So welcome back. I'm Tom Collinger with my friend Jonathan Copulsky. We're talking about the Technology Fallacy, the book that is being uncovered here. We've talked in our earlier segments about something called the knowing-doing gap. We talked about the absorptive capacity, how companies do and do not take in the changes associated with technology's disruption, and finally affordances. Now let's talk about the thing that I imagine is one of the absolute keys to being able to move through the kinds of changes, which is talent.
Yes. So, one of the things that we, not surprisingly, discovered in our research is the ability to attract and retain talent. It is critical to your success as a digitally mature organization. And not surprisingly, when we asked people in our survey about the importance of working for an organization that is a digital leader, the percentage is pretty high. And for people under 35, more than 80% of the people that we surveyed said yes, it was very important to work for a digitally mature organization. What was also interesting was that that percentage was still pretty high for people over the age of 35. In fact, when you went up to the top cohort from an age group standpoint, it never dropped below 72%. So people at all ages, not just the millennials, want to work for organizations that are digitally mature and are at the forefront of their industry when it comes to using digital technology.
That's especially interesting. So what can companies do when faced with this relatively new insight? What do you do?
Yeah. So a lot of it is about affording people learning opportunities. And interesting enough, some of the respondents said it's very important for them to continually update their skills. So 90% of the people that we spoke to said they need to update their skills at least once a year. And but more than half of the people said they need to do that continually. So one is creating those learning opportunities. The second is many people said that in the organization they work today that they're not particularly satisfied with the opportunities that they have. And third, and this is the thing which is scary, is that people said if they did not find those opportunities in their organizations, they would leave. And once again, this was across the board. It was not just the millennials. So, we frequently think people leave because they can get paid more or because the benefits are better or some other things like that. But what these research uncovered for us is people leave because they don't have the opportunity to learn at the rate that they think is important to their future success, and that learning is focused on applications for digital technology.
That is really fascinating. So are there any newer strategies that companies are employing, any examples of things that companies are doing to be able to afford more and more of those kinds of learning opportunities?
Yeah, so there are a couple of things that people are doing. I mean, one is that they're creating the opportunities, being very purposeful about creating those opportunities. And those opportunities could be formal training, they could be courses that they send people to, it could be job sharing, it could be job shifts and so forth. So one of the things that we see organizations doing is making boundaries within the organization a lot more porous so that people can move from one group to another to work in different groups that will allow them to do it. The second is they're creating ecosystems with their partners. And so they're learning not just within their organization, but from other people in that ecosystem. Third is that they're looking outside their industry, looking for fresh perspectives and trying to bring those in. So sometimes hearing, we all say like on the B2B side where I've spent a lot of my career, we don't want to look at B2C examples, but in fact, looking at what Starbucks is doing, look at what McDonald's is doing recently with its purchase of a new artificial intelligence capability. That might be something to learn. And last, this is location. We've seen in the Chicago area a lot of companies who have moved from the suburbs, moved from other parts of Illinois into Chicago, because guess what? The cool kids want to be downtown, and that applies once again across the different age cohorts. So figuring out how to get people into those geographically dense areas where other talent thrives. And so if you want to be focused on digital, you want to be in Chicago, you don't want to be out in the suburbs.
It's so interesting. You've really described enterprises becoming intentional learning enterprises, learning enterprises, which is a big shift for lots of enterprises. Are there any examples that you can point to from your work?
Yeah, we point in the book to Metropolitan Life. So Metropolitan Life old line legacy insurance company, and they put over $10 million into a fund which they call the Workforce of the Future Development Fund. And the mission that they say is, quote, helping our employees gain the skills and knowledge necessary to thrive in the digital economy. And a cornerstone of this whole program is a platform. And the platform is this, which was launched about a year and a half ago, is really focused on replicating the look and feel of the digital experiences in social media to the learning environment. And what's interesting is that they say, and I'll quote this, the same technology that is disrupting the workplace, digitization, automation, machine learning, to name a few, is also making it easy to develop the knowledge and skills employees need to adapt to the workplace of the future. So they're actually turning, digital technology on its head to create the learning platforms that will be critical to making their employees feel that they're valued and making the employees feel that they have an opportunity to catch up, if you will, with their peers in other industries.
That's fantastic, Jonathan. Thank you. Being a learning machine, big takeaway.
So thank you very much, Tom. And I'll just end with this little quote. To executives pondering whether to invest in employee training or not, the first says, what if we train our employees and they just end up leaving? And the other responds, what if we don't and they stay?
Thanks for coming, Jonathan.
Thank
Look
you,
forward to
Tom.
the next one.